afternoon to discuss about the radio-based and television instruction. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Assistant Principal 2 for Operations and Learner Support, Miss Mrs. Jennifer Iruwaring. Okay, so again, if you have some questions about the discussion for this afternoon, kung nahihiya po, please send it to your respective department heads or subject group heads. And sila na lang po ang magtatanong or magdi-deliver ng tanong dito sa amin. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to our principal, Ma'am Ellen, to my co-ASP, Ma'am Bing and Sir Renz, to the department heads, subject group heads, and to the teachers of junior high and senior high. My topic for today is about radio-based instruction and television-based instruction. TVRBI shall be implemented in areas with access to television networks and or radio stations with programs dedicated to deliver the DepEd TV radio-based lessons. TV and radio-based lessons utilized for these platforms are converted self-learning modules where the sequence of presentation is similar with what other learners use in online and modular distance learning. Teacher-made videos that are aligned with MELCs and video lessons that are MELCs mapped may also be utilized. TVRTI should be implemented when supplemented with learning activity sheets that serve as assessment tools to determine whether learners learn the concept presented in TV or radio-based lessons. Other supplementary learning resources like textbooks, learning materials, and others may be utilized. Making SLMS available to the learners will also make TVI-RBI more effective. Actually, yung title nga po ng modality ay printed module plus TV-based, and then printed modules plus RBI, and then printed modules plus video. So, meron pa ring hawak na printed modules yung mga bata, pero magiging guide nila sa pagsagot yung mga ginawang radio programs and then yung mga TV programs ng DepEd. And of course, yung mga video. Cars, next please. Materials for learning exercises, enrichment activities, and assessment may be provided in printed form. So yun yung sinabi kanina, na meron siyang kapartner na printed modules. Schools shall provide the learners as well as their parents, guardian, learning facilitators, the broadcast schedules of lesson. So later po i-discuss natin yung schedule. Learners shall be directed to watch an educational TV program or listen to a radio program facilitated by DepEd. The duration of every lesson episode shall depend on the complexity and length of the modules based on the targeted learning competencies and the allowable airtime agreed upon by the DepEd and the TV radio station. So far, last August 20, at Rawis, Legazpi, nagkaroon po tayo ng MOA signing between the SDO of Tabaco City, Legazpi City, Albay, and Ligao with DCTV Cable Network Broadband Services Incorporated. So based on sa MOA, the 4 SPO will use for free the cable networks of DCTV and its facilities for the distance learning. No advertisement allowed except for the DCTV advertisement. It is a 24/7 program. So meaning, pag may naka-assign na schedule po dyan, halimbawa, Monday, morning, sabihin natin English for certain grade level. So yung DepEd and then yung DCTV po ang mag-i-schedule niya. So the DCTV will provide 2 channels. 2 channels na 24/7 na pwedeng i-access ng ating mga estudyante. The MOA, the effectivity of MOA will last for 3 years. So mag-start po siya ng August 2020 until August 2023. Enhancement of understanding of key concepts and clarifications on possible areas of confusions in the lesson that was viewed, listened to, shall be done during home visit by subject area teacher, learning facilitator whenever possible, or through phone calls, live chats, text messaging, among others. So, kumbaga, kahit anong modality siya, kung merong pangangailangan na mag-home visit, at pwedeng i-home visit, gagawin po yun. Pero kung hindi po possible, para sa ating safety, so pa rin natin gamitin po yung ating mga telepono para tawagan yung mga estudyante or i-chat ito para mag-guide natin yung mga estudyante na merong nararanasang difficulty sa lesson. Guidance from parents, learning facilitators during viewing, listening time shall be required. So siguro itong last na binasa ko, applicable siya siguro sa mga lower grades, particularly sa elementary. Pero pagdating sa mga grades 9, 10 up to senior high, medyo kaya na ng mga bata na maging independent learning. Next slide. This data is from EMIS. Thank you, Ma'am Nelly. And of course, nakagather si Ma'am Nelly ng data dahil po dun sa effort ng mga advisors na alam ko for how many days ay nag-survey ng mga data na to na malaking tulong po. Dahil mula po sa data na nakuha nyo, dun po kami gagawa ng mga plano kung anong gagawin modality. So far, sa radio-based, meron po tayong a total of 417. Right after na magkaroon tayo ng pandemic, isa sa mga modalities na sinuggest ng ating Secretary Briones, sabi niya nga, based sa kanyang experience after World War II, hindi nagkaroon ng academic phase. Instead, ginamit yung radio para sa pagtuturo. So ngayon, medyo kukonti na lang sa atin ang may radio based po sa ating survey. Sa 6th grade levels, 417. Pero yung radio base, minsan na nagagamit na natin kasi may mga FB Live yung mga radio programs. Sa katunayan, nagkakaroon ngayon, merong ongoing dry run para sa radio-based instruction. Last Saturday, si Ma'am Jeannie Kalingasyon and si Ma'am Laarni Gonzalez, sila yung nag-broadcast para doon sa dry run. Then, doon naman sa modular distance learning, printed modules plus TV, ang gagamitin na channel nila is yung DCTV. So, dapat merong cable connection na DCTV. So, in case man na may mga studio, kaya nga po ang tinatanong din dito ay, meron ba silang TV na pwedeng magamit? So, out of 12,000, meron ditong 342 ang pumili ng TV-based. Another, sa module plus video lesson, meron tayong 2,292. So, ito pong sa RBI, sa TV-based, saka dun sa video lessons, hindi po ito yung agad-agad na isipan natin na mag-program sa radio, magli-lesson po tayo. Meron pong mga guidelines. The same po dun sa TV presentation. Karamihan dun sa mga video ay of course produce ng DepEd na ipapakita doon sa schedule time na ibinigay para sa DCTV na station na ating nakabawa. Meron pong guidelines para doon sa next slide po muna. Pakita po muna natin yung picture nung nangyayaring ayan. Yan po yung nangyaring dry run para sa radio base. So nasa right side ng ating screen yung ating PSTS and then yung ating dalawang English teachers. And then sa next slide naman po, makita natin yung nangyaring MOA signing ng 4 na SDO and then with DCTV para naman doon sa TV-based. Meron lang po akong babasahin na guidelines para doon sa radio-based instruction. Number 1, the production process of the radio-based instruction includes the preparation of the rundown or cue sheets, writing of radio scripts, and recording of the radio program. Hindi naman po ako expert dun sa broadcasting, kaya nagtanong ako dun sa mga nag-dry run. Usually daw po ay 30 minutes naglalast yung isang lesson. So dapat compact dun sa 30 minutes lahat ng dapat na matutunan ng mga bata. Radio script shall be written in a way that learners and teachers can understand the lesson the very first time it is read. It is like storytelling, but in a conventional style. So wala po ditong mga adlib-adlib na kung sa face-to-face, di ba, merong mga adlib si teacher. Dito po, naka-base sa script. The conventional type of rundown radio script shall still be followed. Part of the radio script shall remain from opening billboard to closing billboard. So, naghanap po ako ng sample. Halimbawa daw noon, sabi, ito yung sample na binigay sa akin ni Ma'am Laarni. Nakalagay dito, good morning to our grade 4 pupils. This is your school on air radio eskwela, your school partners in giving fun and meaningful learning activities in math. We are here to guide you in your study through this radio broadcast. I am your host, yung name ng host, and the school. So, yun daw yung tinatawag na opening billboard. Next po, the teacher anchor shall state the title of the learner materials, its competencies, and the pages to be studied. So, for example, sasabihin ng teacher, sa araling ito, ang gagamitin ay ang inyong learner's manual sa Filipino 4, quarter 1, mula pahina 45 hanggang 50. Ating alamin ang mga kailanan ng pangalan at mga halimbawa nito. So nag-guide yung bata kung anong gagamiting materials, anong page na susundan nila. The teacher anchor shall specify the activities during the guided practice and drills using the pages, the title of activity, and the direction. So halimbawa po nito, sasabihin ni teacher, sa puntong ito, bubuksan ang inyong aklat sa pahina 47. Gawain isa na may panutong, babasahin yung panuto, and then ating sasagutin ang unang katanungan. So pag sinabi yon, magpo-pause for a while, bibigyan ng konting minuto yung bata para sagutan yung binanggit na gawain. Number 6, the teacher anchor shall provide enough time for the learners to locate the pages and the activities. This can be done through repetition of the page number and the title of the activity. So pati yung pag-guide po, scripted pa din to. Example, atin ang sasagutin ang mga inihandang gawain. Buksan ang inyong aklat sa pahina 47 at hanapin ang gawain isa. Alamin mo, inuulit ko, sa pahina 47, gawain isa. Alamin mo, yun yung title nun. Natagpuan niyo na ba ang sinasabi kong pahina? So, yun yung paraan ng pag-guide sa mga bata. This procedure shall be used until the conduct of independent activity or during the instruction of self-answering of activities found in the textbook. Moreover, the radio script shall have a good hook at the beginning to engage the end users. It shall have a single idea per sentence for better comprehension. It shall have sentences at 25 words or less, but may include a few longer sentences to keep things interesting. The script shall allow for brief pauses. So yung binasa ko pong guidelines, ulitin ko po, hindi lahat ng gustong mag-radio program ay pwedeng mag-radio program. And then yung karamihan dito ay recorded. And of course, dadaan sa quality assurance. The same with the video and yung sa mga TV-based instruction. So, gamitin ko na itong opportunity para i-congratulate Sir Nico kasi alam ko naka-move siya dun sa second stage para dun sa training, para dun sa radio broadcasting. So at least meron tayong galing sa Tapaco National High School na gagawa ng ganitong uri ng modality. So far po, ito yung tatlo. Ay, another thing po pala, last one na lang, yun dun sa video. May nagtanong sa akin advisor regarding dun sa survey nila sa video, yung Video Plus. Number 1 po, ang requirement nun is dapat meron siyang laptop or desktop. Isa po sa gamit ng flash drive na pinurchase ng school natin ay kung wala mang internet connection yung bata, pwedeng ma-save yung video sa kanilang laptop or desktop. Or kung may data man siya or may internet, pwede niya po yun na i-download. So parang ito yung offline-online na kasama ng printed modules. So far, yun po yung aking topic about sa radio-based, TV-based, and video-based modality. Good afternoon. Thank you very much.
All right, so thank you so much, Mom Ruwaring, for that info regarding the radio-based instruction and television-based instruction. So at this point, let's now welcome our third resource speaker for this afternoon, who will discuss about the modular printed and digital learning. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Assistant Principal 2 for Academics, Junior High School, Ma'am Salve B. Estrella.
Good afternoon, everyone. Maray na hapon sa Indo. Now, what Mrs. Ruwaring discussed is really part of the modality, which is distance learning. But she discussed it ahead, but independent naman po yun. Mine is to discuss on the modular, specifically printed and printed delivery modality. Now, I would like to start up with the general information on what these distance learning delivery modalities are for this school year. Truthfully, there are four. One is face-to-face, but that is very remote this year. Then we have the blended learning, we have the distance learning, and we have the homeschooling. But for this afternoon, our focus will only be on the distance learning modalities because there are several. Okay na? All right, I would like first at the outset give the credit to our previous MANCOM speakers, Mrs. Lani Abainsa, who used to be our PSDS for the district, but now is the EPS for English of the division office when she discussed during our MANCOM learning strategies and modalities. And also to Ma'am Grace B. Rabelas from her PowerPoint presentation on guidelines on the utilization of the regionally developed self-learning modules. Now, she's the education program supervisor of the regional office. And all these are culled from the basis, DepEd orders, DepEd order number 12, series of 2020. We have the division memo, circular 2020-00, clarifications on the use of the most essential learning competencies and other related issues. That was May 6, 2020. And then we have the 2020-00162, suggested strategies in implementing distance learning delivery modalities. So these are the references. All right, as per DepEd order number 7, series of 2020, schools and community learning centers, or called the CLCs, under the supervision of the regional offices and SDOs, are authorized to decide on the specific distance learning delivery modalities which may be deemed appropriate in their context. So in our context, we had, as reflected in the LESF, we have our modality, the chosen or the preferred modality. Of course, we have the basis for the identified learning delivery modality. Online, if you look at it, grade 7 has 47%, grade 8, 51%, grade 9, 52%, and grade 10, 100%. So a total of 63%. For the modular learning, 67% grade 7, 59, 57, 66, a total of 62%. So if you take note, this is reflected in their choices in the LESF, yung survey form when they enrolled. Naglalaban po yung online and modular. Okay? And another 25% goes to the combination of the face-to-face with other modalities. So ito po yung mga identified LDM natin. So if you look at the online, pag kinonsider natin yung other data to support this, all right, next slide please. Okay. Pag tinignan natin yung available source of internet, actually yung grade 10, 21% lang. So this does not really support the 100%. Yung ito yung may 21% lang out of grade 10 ang merong own broadband internet, the DSL, wireless, fiber, satellite, etc. Now, 68% of them has the mobile data, which is a bit very expensive. So ito lang yung in-highlight ko, yung sa grade 10 preference na 100% siya. Pero yung support in terms of availability of the resources, titingnan din natin ito. So the school is making decision on this. Okay? Yung isa pa na support, yung available devices at home. Yung may basic cellphone, 34% sa grade 10, grade 9, 34, lahat lang halos nasa 33% yung average for all the grade levels. Yung naka-smartphone, 60% yung average. Cable TV, 49%. So makita natin dito yung isip na handa ba talaga for the online. So ito pag kinonsider natin, medyo hindi. Pero merong percentage na ready, but not really 100%. Okay? So mag-focus tayo ngayon, lalo na yung internet, availability of internet connection. Okay, look at it. Ang naka-yes na talagang with internet connectivity, grade 7, 61, grade 8, 65%, grade 9, 61, grade 10, 65, an average of 62%. So ito lang yung actually with internet connection. So hindi siya talaga yung solid na 100%. Pinapakita ko po ito yung data and this was presented during the regional MANCOM. Ito yung naka-embody sa ating learning continuity plan. Now, focus tayo na dito sa preferred LDM on modular. This is distance learning. Kasi ang modular po is a way of distance learning. So what is it that we say distance learning? This learning takes place between the teacher and the learners who are geographically remote from each other during instruction. So under this distance learning, these are the types. 1, modular distance learning. Another one is online distance learning. And what Ma'am Jen discussed is still part of the distance learning. We have the TV, radio-based instruction. Now, under the modular distance learning, okay, let's talk about it because this is our preferred modality. On modular distance learning, we may either adopt. So a learner may adopt. So may option dito sa modular distance learning. One is digital modular learning, the DMDL. And the other one is printed modular distance learning. So pag sinabi nating modular, possible siyang dalawa. So pwedeng digital, pwedeng printed. Now, ano yung may digital? Learners with devices at home like laptop, desktop, or tablet may adopt DMDL. Ito yung digital modular distance learning. The SLMs stand for self-learning modules in different digital formats such as flat PDF, education videos, audio lessons, e-SLMs, and others may be stored in a CD, DVD, USB, flash drive, or pen drive. Ito ang digital. While the printed self-learning modules shall be used by learners adopting printed. For the opening, come October 5, we all first be using the printed modality, printed modular distance learning. Now, on modular distance learning, ang primary resources that shall be used are the self-learning modules. So, ito po SLM na laging sinasabi natin, self-learning modules. Developed by the regions for the implementation of the alternative delivery modes. It shall be the foundation for conversion to various content formats such as, but not limited to digital formats, flat PDF, and e-SLM. Educational video, radio, and others. So even if you have or we adopt the radio broadcast instruction, still it is anchored on the SLM. The digital format of the SLM shall be uploaded to the Learning Resource Portal and DepEd Commons. Or yung sabi natin, nakakopy sa flash drive and will be distributed. Now, if we talk of the SLM, standard po yung mga parts nila. So, wala po sa printing natin na mawawalang bahagi dyan. What are the contents of the SLM? So, mag-elementary, from kinder, elementary, and the secondary, there is always the title of the material in the introduction, the objectives, vocabulary list. There will always be the pre-test, learning activities, practice tasks. Generally, there are several, 1, 2, 3, and then there's the post-test, and then the assignments, and the answer key. Why is there the answer key? Okay. The modules contain self-teaching and self-learning materials, which will enable students to work independently with minimum teacher assistance. Kasi nga, distance learning, remote, wala yung physical presence. Now, for young learners, a parent or tutor is needed to assist them as they engage with the modules at home. But for our learners who are high school students, junior and the senior, we have the less support, minimum parent or teacher assistance. The modules are designed. So, sabi natin, I asked a while back, why is there the need to have the key, the answer key? Because the modules are designed to guide the learners on first, understanding the concepts. Sila yung mag-aaral nito. Kaya nga ang tawag self-learning. So, understanding the concept. And second, learning the skills. Now, it's a formative assessment, and therefore there has to be the key so that the learners can track the progress of his or her own learning. Am I getting this right? So if I get perfect in the pre and the post test in the module, then I am really reading and studying. But if I copy ahead, then it's a different story. That's why, as much as this is an acquisition of the concept, that's knowledge, we also have the skills. Yung A doon, kasi naka-anchor ang ating K-12 on the KSA, knowledge, skills, and attitude. This time, attitude will really be put to test. Although alam natin sa field, they might open ahead yung answer na bago pa sila mag-try to answer. But we will try to really request and encourage them to really gauge and measure their own learning at their own pace. They put the looking at the answer key. They will have first to try it themselves. Now, the modules may not be sufficient to master the lessons. Thus, as provided in a memorandum issued by the Office of the Undersecretary for Curriculum and Instruction, dated May 6, 2020, teachers shall be tasked to prepare weekly learning activity sheets or worksheets. Ito po yung ating hinihingi na sinusulat regularly on the work from home accomplishment. Yung mga preparation of the weekly learning activity sheets and other summative tests anchored still on the MELCs. So consistent siya doon sa SLM. This is to supplement the modules for purposes of remediation or enhancement. The learning activity sheets or worksheets shall be anchored on the MELCs and aligned with the self-learning modules. So yan po. Okay? Now, teachers may include in the worksheets or learning activity sheets recommended readings and activities which are DepEd developed. So marami naman na na-uploaded na teachers can refer to, or DepEd approved learning resources specifically mentioned at DepEd Order 12 Series 2020 and those at the DepEd Learning Resource Portal, the DepEd Commons, and other open educational resources. Now, in consideration of the number of minutes of engagement suitable for a grade level, the type and complexity of the learning activities in a module, among other factors, the teacher may decide for a schedule and assignment of module per learning day. Thus, it is possible that learner may engage with only 1 or 2 modules a day. Flexibility and home-based learning allows learners to grasp concepts at their pace and ensure comprehension before moving to the next lesson. Thus, for TNHS, this will be our schedule. Compliant to the directive that there should only be at least 1 or 2 modules per day, we have this schedule. Now, 7:30 to 11:30, nakaspread siya throughout the week. That's why this is a weekly plan. Now, all in the morning, 7:30 to 11:30, from Monday to Thursday, subjects have English, science, math, and MAPE. Now, in the afternoon at 12:30 to 4:30, because per learning area requires in the usual face-to-face, we have the 4 hours meeting per week. Now, in the afternoon, 12:30 to 4:30, Filipino, AP, TLE, and ESP. Now, on a Friday, on every week, this is meant for SLM's distribution and retrieval. So, nakaprogram lang po yung mga gagawin nila. Now, a daily weekly schedule may be done at the school level based on the division and school learning continuity plan and choice of learning delivery modalities. Now, we have already prepared with the help of the department heads and the curriculum chairpersons. No teacher, of course, will individually prepare the weekly home learning plan. It has to be collective, reflecting all the activities required per week of all the learning areas. So right now, we are ready with the grade 7 and the grade 10. Okay? Now, on assessment. Now, this is pending the release of a national policy on classroom assessment in the different learning delivery modalities. These basic guidelines must be considered. So, we shall wait for the national policy. Meantime, the pre-test and post-test in the module shall serve as self-assessment. So, ito na yung sagot kung bakit ano man ngaya ang pigparagastuhan, may answer na pala ngaya ang module because it's only a self-assessment. Now, how will they be assessed? The teachers may give additional assessment that are aligned or congruent with the module or lesson objectives. As much as possible, assessment strategies will focus on outputs that can be done at home. For example, creative project, research, learning journal, portfolio, and whatever is appropriate and doable. Pero po, yung for purposes of the recording ng ating, of course, we shall grade all the same, we provide the summative test. Okay, na it's either now part of the first distribution or they may form part of the next week and the thereafter weeks na mga assessment, summative tests in particular. Now, if you will ask, yung week 1 ba agad pwede nang mag-summative test? In other learning areas, they can because it's already the combination of several competencies. For example, in math, ang week nila for week 1, there are already several competencies embedded in the module. Okay. Considering the present context of teaching and learning under the new normal, the emphasis for all schoolwork must be on learning and not compliance. So learning at least, yes, learning in fact, not just simply they comply and they answer for us to get back after a week na yung mga answer sheets nila. But they really have to study. Now, learners must be allowed the flexibility to redo, show progress, and complete their lessons. Keeping learners emotionally and physically safe while continuously engaged in learning should be given priority. Yung walang takot na hindi ko pa nagawa. So, pwede naman po bigyan. So, meron tayong flexibility. Okay? Teachers, ito yung medyo marami expectation sa atin under the new normal and the distance learning. Teachers need to have constant communication with the learners and their parents to gather and provide feedback. Now, what are these feedback for? They can be used to adjust learning tasks. The teacher takes the responsibility of monitoring the progress of the learners. The learners may ask assistance from the teacher via email, telephone, text message, or instant messaging, and any other way of communication. Where possible, the teacher shall do home visits to learners needing remediation or assistance. Now, ito naman home visit kung kailangan lang because under a difficult situation, yung barangay meron na mga identified COVID, so hindi siya allowable. So, yung may possibility lang, where possible and it is safe, therefore, we can do home visits. So if it's not, maraming options to contact and monitor and gather the feedback. Now, on distribution or the access to the SLMs, the self-learning modules cover all learning areas for all grade levels, except for mother tongue, pero nasa LM ito, which should have been developed. So wala tayong concern dito kasi sa atin lahat ready na. The intended users of the SLMs are public school teachers and learners of DepEd Region 5 Bicol. So kaya nga po, medyo stricto tayo sa materials. Merong policy sa distribution and accessibility ng SLM. Okay? These shall be distributed to them for free. So wala pong bayad. Kahit ni isang 25 or a single penny. The modules are for teaching and learning purposes only. In no way, the SLM shall be printed or electronically reproduced for commercial purposes. So, no way. So, hindi siya pwedeng i-reproduce ulit, gawing parang textbook at ipagbili. So, hindi po, bawal. So, in no way shall be printed, electronically reproduced for commercial purposes. Now, the third rule and guidelines, no part of the SLM shall be shared publicly to any form of social media. No Facebook, Google, Plus, WhatsApp, and the like. So kung meron kayong friend, nagtatanong, meron na ba kayo nito? And please don't send, especially if your friend lives in other regions. Within Region 5, yes. Kasi regional ang use and preparation ng SLM natin. Other regions also prepare their own. So hindi tayo pwedeng gumamit ng materials from other regions na ginawa, halimbawa ng NCR, kasi kailangan pa niya ng permission to do so. Now, hindi nga siya pwedeng i-upload. This also applies to derivatives of the modules. Yung mga eventually gagawin na mga e-books, audio, video, and other multimedia formats. Even the RBI. So pag ginawa po yon yung TV and RBI, that is only used for Region 5. Yan po ang guidelines. Any DepEd personnel who will be directly and indirectly involved in the unauthorized distribution of the modules as specified in numbers 1 to 6 shall be dealt with administratively. The LRMS supervisor shall see to it that printed modules are equitably distributed, and that guidelines on distribution and access are followed. The manner of distribution and retrieval of the modules shall be determined by the schools in consideration of their context and available resources. The school may come up with a schedule of distribution and retrieval of modules per grade level. That's why we also design our own. Okay? And the last, on the distribution, on monitoring of the SLM, learning area supervisors shall monitor the utilization of the modules and give report as to the issues and concerns relative to the accuracy of the information on the material or the material's effectiveness. They shall serve as basis for enhancing the resource materials. Public schools district supervisors and school heads are tasked to monitor the teachers' preparation and utilization of learning activity sheets to ensure appropriateness and efficiency. Okay. So, pagdating dito na may leeway tayo to design our delivery, now I will now go directly to the next topic along printed modular distance learning. This is now the printed modular distance learning or the PMDL, its prerequisites and processes in TNHS context. So ano po ang modality natin ng distribution? Now, when we talk of the printed modular distance learning prerequisites, one, we need a unique class organization based on geographic location. That's one. Now, number two, prerequisites, meticulous and sequential staging of SLM sorting and preparation. And the third, careful and systematic barangay municipality distribution of SLMs and retrieval of both SLMs and answer sheets. And then the fourth prerequisite, of course, there has to be the sufficient and efficient logistical support. Ano itong mga kailangan natin? Mga school paraphernalia, anti-COVID protective gears, transport services. And this will be discussed thoroughly. And earlier, the P4 also has mentioned a few of these provisions. A few of these provisions. Now, pag sinabi nating provision of the school paraphernalia, anti-COVID, ano bang mga kailangan? Yan. In progress na po yung preparation ng mga envelopes. We need 2 sets of envelopes. Yung first envelope, that is for the week 1 distribution. Papahingahin muna yon, naka-ready yung next na bagong envelope for the second. So alternately sila ang gagamitin. Now, what are those big boxes for? Ito yung box ng mga materials for transport. Now, yung load, kasi doon sa monitoring, sa assessment, yung teacher kailangan tumawag. Ngayon, naiisip ninyo, magasto yan kasi marami na estudyante, 50. So, there will be, according to P4, this is in place. Part ng logistical support ito na may load. And then all the protective gear, masks, face shield, marking pens, kasi yung mga papalargahin ng mga iba-bundle and all. And of course, yung transport service. Paano ba dadalhin? Alangan naman na i-walk mo ba yon? O magagamit maybe ng pagmalapit lang, yung pedicab, tricycle, yung isa motorized, or meron tayong out of town, pwedeng may van. So, ito yung mga options for transport. Care of ito kay Ma'am Jen, but part of the logistical support. Itong may spray na to, ano bang kailangan yan? Actually, hindi siya dapat disinfectant. For materials ito, but we need daw the UV light, ultraviolet light for disinfecting materials that we shall retrieve. So, lahat naman po ng safety precautions are considered. Okay. So, yan po yung fourth na very important prerequisites. Balik po tayo doon sa una na prerequisite unique class organization. Okay. PMDL prerequisites on unique class organization. Why is this unique? Because this is far different from the usual. Now, sectioning is based on geographic location, and there will be 2 listings for our learners. Now, one listing will be for the class. Learners are listed as a class with designated advisor. And that advisor is for 1, profiling, record keeping, LIS enrollment. Generally po yung BEP. Okay, the Basic Education Program. But although yung mga itong STE, SPA, SPS, Open High School, these are other programs and curricular offering, naka-immerse sila in the barangay, but for the purpose of LIS enrollment, they will remain intact. Kaya po yung previous advisor ng mga batang ito should prepare the list. Sino ba yon? Para imamap din ito ng mga bago na ngayon, nasaan itong bata, taga saan siya, pero ang curriculum niya ay STE. So, yung LIS, yung curricular offering niya will stand as it is. STE siya, STE pa rin po siya. SPA siya, SPA, SPS, SPS. Open High School, coordinated by Mrs. Grace Longa, may 56 tayo. This is not anymore an intervention. This is a curricular offering now. It's a program. So may 56 tayo. Itong mga OHS na ito, ang sa kanila sa LIS, Open High School din. So they are all kept intact, the learners, with respective advisor. Now, another one, follow-up, monitoring, home visit as the need arises, sabi nga natin, for proper coordination, for retrieval, sorting, and distribution of answer sheets to subject teachers. So, ito po na section na ito na yung na-receive ninyo na may C1-A, C1-B. Now, another listing, which is unique, is as one grade level in the barangay municipality of a cluster. Now, there will be the separate list. Same listings and numbering will appear in the weekly SLM delivery and retrieval template. Kasi magagamit po, nag-prepare na yung grade level curriculum chairpersons ng template. We agreed on what data to include. Now, all learners in the barangay na grade 7 will appear in that template. The template will also serve as a proof of parents' attendance. If they come and claim for the SLM, they countersign, meaning bumupunta yung nanay. So yung parent ang may attendance kasi kausap natin ngayon under the new normal, not the under 21 years old na learners natin, but parents or their representatives na mga adults. Now, another purpose of the template, aside from the attendance, monitoring. So, malalaman natin sino ba ang hindi kumukuha. Sino pa ang hindi nakakuha. Now, and another one, data gathering tool, because there are some information that they will have to write in that weekly SLM tool. So, these are the two listings, as class or one section, and another one as the barangay listing in the cluster. That's the unique class organization we have now. Now, speaking of the TNHS clustering of enrollment, now allow me to give credit to the chairman of the enrollment and the very people who work on this. They do cleansing, data gathering to have this data. Yung mga grade level chairpersons ng grade 7, they have been coming over and had been helping us prepare the list. Mamir Nabubis, Vic Bonsa, Eden Busque, Rone Barcela of grade 7, salamat po sa data, grade 8, Jonald Lasala, Marie Ferros, Ems Borlado, the Magic 3 of the English Department, thank you. Grade 9, Ruby Borsal and Steven Conde, Jeline Belen and Nyrene Belen Vargas. For grade 10, they are 4, but at the helm of all this, si Mr. Rani Balcueva. Then, with the help of Julay Barbacena, Mavic Haji, and Baste Neptuno. Of course, with the able leadership of the enrollment in charge, Mrs. Jennifer Duwaring, and all those who help in the remote and online enrollment. Now, eto na po yung ating sinasabi na unique or class organization. Our enrollees, basta clusters 1 to 10, they belong to Tabaco City. Automatically, pag cluster 11, that's outside Tabaco. Now, naka-cluster po sila with the designated alphabetical letter assigned to the barangay. For cluster 1, nandyan po yung summary of listing. So, pag nagsusort tayo, ito yung panghahawakan natin. Ilang bang grade 7 nandyan sa San Lorenzo? 33. Ilang bang grade 8? 23. Grade 9? 23. Grade 10? 26. So, ilan yung estudyante natin sa San Lorenzo lang? 105. So, San Lorenzo is cluster 1-A. Now, cluster 1B is Salvacion, cluster 1C is Fatima, and cluster C1D is Tagas. And all the total number of learners we have. So, isang cluster pa lang po is already equivalent to one national high school. But for Tabaco High, isang cluster pa lang po ang i-deliver natin. So, in cluster 1, we have a total of 761 learners. Now, cluster 2, This is ang component barangay ng Cluster 2. A is San Roque, Santo Cristo is B, Divino Rostro is C. So tatandaan lang po ninyo, ano ba ang nakalagay sa section ninyo na pinanghahawakan ngayon? Pag C1, o dyan kayong barangay, C2, C3, hindi po siya yung inumin na C1, C2 or order sa Jollibee na chicken and rice. Cluster 3, C3, Cobo is A, Cabangan is B, San Ramon is C, with a total learners of 670. Cluster 2, sentro kasi ito, tingnan ninyo po ang total, 989. Cluster 4, Baranghawon is A, in Cluster 4 yan, ha? Bongabong is B, Common is C. So very essential po ang code na capital C and the number. Class C stands for cluster. The number, numerical, stands for the name or the number of that cluster. And the letter assignment for the barangay in that cluster. So, common is C. For cluster 5, ito kasi konti-konti lang, upland area ito. Makikita ninyo, nagre-range yung cluster 5 from Buwang, Buhian, Basagan, Oras, Kinastilyo, Tabigian, Bantayan, Buonot, Suwaigot, from A to I. Pero ang total lang ng learners nila, halos yung Buwang 60, ang total ng learners lahat doon is 225. Kaya po ang grade 7, ang cluster 5, pag cluster 5 ng grade 7, isang section siya kasi 50 na sila na learners. Okay, grade 8 also, 51. So ito na yung mga independent na combination ito ng isang section. Now, for cluster 6, so ito yung mga baryo ng clusters 1 to 5. Cluster 6 to 10. Cluster 6, Matagbak is A, Pinagbubong B, San Vicente C, San Antonio D, Magapo, San Isidro, and Buring E. Cluster 7, yung malapit sa atin, Bangkilingan is A, Pawa B, San Carlos C. We have a total, kasi malapit lang sa atin, a total of 1,112 learners. So yun, ang mga makikita ninyong number na mga dadalhin. Okay, Bangkilingan, 402, kaya pwede digdisikat-sikat. Pawa, Tapasakat, motorized. San Carlos, motorized, the 360. Cluster 8, it's made up of Panal, A, Ginubat B, Marirok, and Nagsipit C. So, again, sa cluster 8 na Panal, pwedeng sikad-sikad kasi 263, Ginubat is 199. Pero yung Marirok, Nagsipit, malayo, so motorized. Cluster 9, Bombon is A, Basud is B, C is San Juan, and Taihi D, with a total learners of 629. So makikita ninyo pera how many learners there are in each grade level and the total learners in that barangay. Cluster 10 is made up of Cormidal, assigned A, Kinale B, and Bacolod C. May konti lang ang kanila ang ating learners with a total of 394. So friends, clusters 1 to 10, it's the Tabaco City. Barangay lang po yan. So within Tabaco. But if we talk of the cluster 11 now is out of Tabaco. Out of town na ito. Ang order naman sa cluster 11, it is made up of these municipalities. Tiwi is A, Malinao is B. So sa monitoring, tinatawag itong cluster 11-A, meaning made up of Tiwi and Malinao for monitoring ito. Okay? Ito naman na cluster 11, Bakakay, Malilipot, Santo Domingo, this is cluster 11B. Alright, and Bakakay is assigned letter C, Malilipot D, and Santo Domingo E. Meron pa tayong mga no addresses, so marami pang magpa-pop up niyan. No, hindi pa nila alam kung nasaan kasi hindi pa sila nakalista at hindi pa rin alam naman. And for your information, meron tayong mga no address. Meron din po tayo ng mga grade 7, ang address nila na nasa Saudi, Caloocan, Cavite, merong mga international tayo. So yung no address, hindi matrace kung saan silang talagang lugar. Kasi yung sinulat sa LESF, out of town, not within Albay. Okay po. Now, the total sections for this year, 2020-2021, grade level has 47 sections. Bumaba tayo, hindi naman, the same pa rin. Bumaba tayo sa grade 8 with only 42 sections. Grade 9, 47. Grade 10, nag-increase siya ng kasi 48 sections na. So, what will be our total enrollment for this school year? Grade 7, 2,029. Grade 8, 2,079. Grade 9, 2,280. Grade 10, 2,277. And a total for the junior high department alone, 8,665. But we expect na dadagdag pa ito kasi may magpa-pop up na left untraced and yung magbibigay pa lang na total of 28 na walang permanent, may address pero hindi within tobacco and hindi traceable. So, diyan po ang enrollment natin for this year. Okay. Now, ito yung example ng sectioning. Kinuha ko yung grade 7. Okay. Yung sa cluster 1, may total siya na learners sa cluster 1, 197. Now, yung C1, ang San Lorenzo is A. Ngayon, ang estudyante ng grade 7 San Lorenzo, 30 lang po siya. So, konti din siya for a class. So, kailangan natin kumuha sa neighbor niya na barangay, but within the cluster. Kaya kumuha tayo ng Salvacion. Pero ang section niya is C1 because it's cluster 1, A kasi majority is from San Lorenzo. Ngayon, may dagdag lang siya na parenthesis C1, B1. Okay po. Kasi kumuha tayo ng konting learners to complete or add to the 30 to make it 45, kumuha tayo ng 12 sa Salvacion. And ang Salvacion is letter B already. Now, ang Salvacion, masyado siyang malaki, kaya pinagdalawa siya. Kaya yung section C1A, may dagdag na B1 na 12. Pero yung standard na C1B na majority, taga Salvacion, yun ang standard bearer. Siya yung section cluster 1, B2. Meaning, cluster 1, Barangay Salvacion, yung group 2 ng Salvacion. Okay po? Pero ang standard mong section, C1A, C1B. Now, C1D, kasi yung tagas, 41 na siyang automatic. Kaya solo lang siya. Enough for one section already. Kasi yung sectioning number of learners ng grade 7, at most 42 lang po. Okay? 42 or more. Ngayon, meron tayong ipinakita ko dito na meron tayong nag-cross border tayo from Fatima. Kumuha tayo ng learner sa cluster 2 na. Kasi yung San Roque, marami siya. Merong yung San Roque na 59. Ang laki naman for a class. So, ang ginawa, binawasan ng 17 yung San Roque, idinagdag po doon sa 25 ng Fatima. Okay? So, yung 42 na section C1E, actually po, component siya ng cluster 1, na majority ng taga San Roque. Kaya E na ito. Okay? E. San Roque ba E? Okay. Now, that's the sectioning. So, that's too unique for now. Bakit kailangan may parenthesis na C plus 12? Para alam mo, ilang bang dinagdag na bata doon sa barangay na galing sa ibang barangay. Para po may guide kayo. Okay. Next po. So, sample lang po. Now, dito tayo sa prerequisite. We are done with the unique class organization, listing into class and barrio and cluster. Now, for the SLM sorting, kasi kailangan nating mag-staging para step by step. Now, for the department sorting, ganito po ang structure. All the 8 departments will have this, headed by the department head or the officer in charge. Now, the key teacher per grade level will be in charge of sorting of their own learning area per grade level. Now, key teacher, grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, grade 10. Kaya po dito, along this one, ang room assignment natin when you come, Per department, there are 5 assigned rooms meant for you. Excluded po ang faculty room because IATF tayo compliant. You are not to crowd in one room if you are 40. Yung faculty room, nandoon po yung kasi to attend to your personal needs. CR and the department head and department OIC is there. But one room is assigned per grade level. For example, SIGA building, lahat lang po yan ng 5 rooms. CB 4, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 is English. Yung sa other side po, yung sa Filipino. Okay. Now, itong structure na ito for sorting, but your department head will also form you into cluster teams. Ha? Kung anong cluster kayo naka-assign. Halimbawa, in your department, ikaw ay cluster 1 to 5 lang. Ang organization ninyo dyan for clustering ay that is preparation for the distribution. Itong nakita ninyong structure for the on-screen, this is for the sorting of the materials. But when you deliver, it will be by cluster group. Kaya masiseparate din po kayo. Combination ang isang cluster ng isang grade 7, isang grade 8, isang grade 9, isang grade 10. At hindi rin po magiging siyang very ideal na kung taga saan kayo, doon kayo maa-assign kasi mahirap po. In one barrio, na-check namin pag mapping, nakita ni Jen, sa isang barrio minsan marami pong teacher. So kailangan i-spread. So hindi siya, wag sasakit ang loob na bakit pa ako dito sa ibang barangay pa ako na-assign. This is only for the purpose of distribution ng SLM. Kasi ang starting point po is common. Lahat naman po kayo pupunta ng school to prepare the materials. Yan po yung department. So, department sorting, meron din kayong department clustering. That's for distribution na counterpart. Okay, that's stage 1. So, ano po ang expectation sa stage 1? Anong mangyayari? Ano ang resulta? Alright, sa stage 1, each grade level ensures complete paging. Kasi katulad ng sa test bag, tinitingnan natin yung page. Kasi hindi magagawa ng kompleto pag may nawawalang page. Kailangan po complete siya. So kung may nawala, may naiwan, ipapahabol po yun pero i-insert ulit. Basta each module will have complete paging. SLMs are sorted and accounted equal to the actual learner in each barangay of the cluster. Sabi ko nga kanina, kung may 59 siya, although yung sa section, wag kayong malito sa section, yung salvation, pinaghati siya ng 2. That's for LIS, BEP. Pero yung module distribution, intact po yung lahat ng, kung may 79 dyan sa baryo, 79 ang bibit-biton. Now, deposit sorted SLMs to designated stock rooms for the next stage. Ano po ang next stage? So, at the moment, for your information, complete and sorted na Filipino, Science, Math, Aral Pan, English, tapos na ito. ESP may kulang pa, MAPE in progress, TLE incomplete din. But in time, before September 28, we hope that all modules should have been printed and sorted. Now, sa SLM sorting tayo, what is the stage 2? So, after ng department na sort ninyo, right now, nakatago sa kanya-kanya yung stock room. Now, magkakaroon tayo ng interdisciplinary, meaning learning area, interdisciplinary department sorting of SLMs for individual packing in the envelopes. According ito sa inyong, kaya yung magsusort, maglalagay ng mga envelope, ng mga learning modules sa envelope, lahat ng grade 7 na learning areas, pinaghati po. Pag clusters 1 to 5 will be deposited to CB14. That is the stock room of the English department. Cluster 6 to 11, kay Mr. Banyal, ang stock room nila is SIGA Building 5. Okay po. Now, yung grade 8 naman, pinaghati, may kay Mrs. Camo, yung lahat ng module meant for clusters 1 to 5, i-deliver sa stock room ng GB7. Kasi doon nasa Glory Building ground ang ESP na mga rooms, yung 5 rooms assigned to you. Yung cluster 6 to 11, kay Mrs. Notario, your stock room is Lawenco Building 3. Yung home economics, meant for grade 10 daw, request ni Ma'am Notario. And all other rooms na nandoon sa Lawenco Building. Now, for sa grade 9, pag sinabing clusters 1 to 5, grade 9, pupunta ang mga modules sa GB, sa Glory Building 5. Yung kay Mr. Banyal, CB5 po yun ha. Yung sa grade 9 clusters 1 to 5, Glory Building 5. Pero ang MAPE, occupancy nila is nasa taas ng Glory Building. We only give GB5 kasi materials ito mahirap kung iaakyat pa sa second floor. Kaya nasa ground din ang inyong stock room ng materials. In charge, Mrs. Babasoro. Yung kalahati ng grade 9, cluster 6 to 11, the stock room is BL1. In charge is the area supervisor, Mr. Vic Vargas. Okay. Now, yung grade 10, pinagati din, lahat ng modules ng clusters 1 to 5 na mga learning areas will go to, sa grade 10, will go to Lawenco Building 4, care of Ma'am Barbadillo and the math teachers. Now, yung 6 to 11 will go to Science and Tech 1, care of Mr. Brito and the science teachers. That is for the interdisciplinary sorting. Now, ano ang end product nito sa interdisciplinary? We ensure that each envelope contains, next po, each envelope contains the complete set of SLMs for the 8 learning areas of the grade level. Now, you bundle now the envelopes by barangay or by municipality. Pero yung envelope, nandoon na yung 8 learning areas na sorted. Now, box properly labeled bundled envelopes by barangay into clusters. Kaya pag cluster 1 na box, okay, this is meant for the 4 barangays. Nakabundle sila. Deposit boxed bundled envelopes to the department stock room designated or assigned ready for field distribution. Ready lang for field distribution. Okay. Now, ito sa stage 2, ito na ang mangyayari. Ito ang output natin. Kung anong cluster ka mo na-assign sa department nindo. Okay? Dapat, sugabos na subjects, nakalaog na dyan sa envelope. So, ang output is individually packed set of 8 self-learning modules in an envelope. And then, properly accounted envelopes by barangay in the cluster. So, yan po. Pag yan ay nasa envelope na, nakabundle na by barangay, we proceed na to stage 3. Masaina itong nakakluster na mga pig sort nindo. We now proceed to stage 3. Stage 3 is pre-delivery. Now, isang consideration, kasi hindi naman kayo lahat sabay-sabay, you will go to the field. Mapupuno ang barangay ng maraming teachers ng Tabacuhay. So to avoid this one, ang agreement is for security, for safety, for economical reasons. Magfi-field lang po per week will be the assigned departments. Now, ang target distribution natin is September 28. Because this is 1 week, approved po ito ni P4, and this is also her recommendation. Yung September 28, that is 1 week before October 5. Kasi po dapat 1 week before October 5, na-distribute sa field ang mga SLM. Now, yung week 1, ang assign po to go to clusters 1 to 5 will be the English department. Ang stock room nila is Siga Building 14. Ito na yung pagdala na ng mga nakabox na mga clustered envelopes. Clusters 1 to 5, CB14. Clusters 6 to 11, Filipino department yung in charge. The materials will go to CB11. Yung clustered teachers nila, sila ang mag-field on September 28. Now, all the others, ano po yung gagawin? Now, yung in charge na department will check contents of big boxes assigned to you. Kung kompleto siya. Now, clusters 1 to 6 and kada cluster complete with the barangay. Now, what happens to the non-distributors for the week? Yung department head magre-recommend po ng teachers who will come to school during the delivery and the transport of the materials to assist in the loading of SLMs. Saan ilo-load? Doon sa mga transport services. It's either padjak, motorized tricycle, van, etc. Para po walang maiwan. Okay. So ito po ang stage 3. English lang po at nakita na doon sa schedule yung mga yung mga susunod. Sa stage 4, barangay distribution na tayo kasi naka-ready na yung dadalhin. All right. September 28 na. Now, before September 28, teacher residence. Ito po, request namin. Teacher residents of the barangay who are not assigned to distribute for the week, kung pwede po, we request you to facilitate the proper setting up of 4 tables in the space provided by the barangay a day before September 28 or any other day of delivery. Now, it must be compliant to DOH and IATF safety standards. So, ano po ang setup? Okay. Next, please. Okay. Makita po ninyo yung parang may queuing tayo syempre, social distancing. Magsiset ng isang table. Okay. Nakalagay po sa ibabaw ng table yung distribution module template. Nakapaskil po yan sa mesa. Following the barangay listing and numbering. Now, who will write using their own pen? The parents who will come and order representative. Isang upuan lang. Ano ang kaharap ng upuan? Yung boxes of SLM. Now, nasaan yung mga teachers? Hindi ka po dyan, hindi mo i-expose yung buhay mo na ikaw ang magbigay ng module. 2 meters away from the table and the boxes, once na na-set up na po yon, kayo po ay overseer or magmo-monitor and supervise lang. So, kayong team, yung cluster team na nandoon sa barangay na yan, hindi po kayo lalapit doon sa table o hindi kayo magbibigay ng material. I-set up lang ninyo and keep a distance 2 meters away. Nandiyan lang kayo sa palibot ng katayo. It's either that you guide the parent na tanungin na anong number, anong grade siya, meron kayong flag para hindi masyadong magsalita. O basta na kung nasaan kang nakatayo, grade 7, dito siya maglinya. Grade 8, maglinya siya doon. Grade 9, grade 10. Para yung queuing is malinaw po. Okay. Walang lalapit doon sa magulang na magbibigay ng module. Now, wearing your face mask and your face shield and with your alcohol, nandyan po kayo sa palibot. Okay. 2 meters away from where they are. Now, ano po ang isusulat ng parent? Bakit siya magdadala? Kasi may orientation din yung parents. They will be instructed to bring their own pen. Hindi po pwede ang hiraman. Okay. Ano isusulat ng parent doon sa template? Okay. Ito po ang isusulat niya para meron tayong hard copy. Doon sa prepared template, nakalista na po yung pangalan ng bata. Yung mga yung learners in that barangay. In the order. Okay. Naka-alphabetical siya. So, may naka-assign na number. Now, yung parent na pupunta, isusulat niya opposite her child's name, ano ba ang complete name niya. Pipirmahan niya, kasi siya yung nagsulat, magsusulat siya kung meron siyang functional CP number or any functional CP number of a household. Kasi yung teacher, kayong advisor, meron na po baga kayo na number ng bata. Dapat po meron din tayo na contact. Kasi yun ang tatawagan natin. Pag next delivery hindi pa dumating, may number po tayong ready. Another one, they will write their email ad or the Facebook account. Kasi lahat naman po alos, meron din sila niyan. Now, in another column, they will check lang or put an X if capable for digital modality. Digital modular distance learning. Meaning, meron silang pwedeng uploadan ng flash drive na pwede nilang ma-view. Mag-check sila. Ngayon, meron ba silang readiness for online? Mag-check din sila. Now, RBI, radio-based instruction or TV, they will also check. If they are not capable of that, they only put an X in the column. So that makes the template also a data gathering tool. Now, sasabihin, hiningi na namin yan, meron na. Kayo pong advisor, meron na. Pero mabuti din po na meron tayong record ng nasa barangay mismo. Okay po. Now, overall, ang appearance sa barangay hall during our delivery in the barangay and the distribution of the modules, it will appear like this one. So, 4 pong table per grade level. 1 table for grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, and grade 10. And yung residents of that barrio, pag hindi niya duty to distribute, may be there to assist the mga on duty. At least yung magpalinya, magtatanong kung anong number, anong pangalan, para all out, sir, ikaw po ay number 15. Alam na kung nasaan doon sa lista. May nag-prepare na. And ma'am said, meron naman tayong, what is that called? The megaphone, para hindi naman ano yung boses, o kaya mga handy means of amplifying we call it the portable, thank you ma'am, portable sound system. You can amplify the voice. Or pwede din, minsan barangay meron din sila, makikihiram tayo para po orderly and systematic. So ang appearance po ganyan na. Basta yung boxes of SLM, nandyan lang, sila po ang kukuha, hindi po kayo ang magbibigay. Ngayon, halimbawa, merong parent na multiple grade ang anak niya. Naglinya siya ng grade 7. Pwede din siyang mag-cross na next doon sa grade 8 na hindi na magla-line up sa dulo ng grade 8. Kasi aabutan siya ng the whole day, maglinya lang. Kung from grade 7, babalik ulit siya sa grade 8, malinya giraray siya sa grade 9. So ito ang i-monitor din po ng mga naka-duty na pag multiple i-claim ng bata, pwede din po na i-assist siya na mag-cross na along doon sa table na multiple grade level. Okay po? Okay. So yan po ang sa barangay distribution. Now, for the stage 5, the retrieval of answer sheets, ito na ang magiging role ng advisor. Each advisor, reports to the designated stock room where answer sheets are deposited. And if answer sheets are ready and already have been disinfected and they are ready to be touched, they are ready to be unfolded. Hindi po outright na pagkahali sa barangay, pupunta agad kayo at maghanap na ng sa inyong mga answer sheets. Kasi pinag-iisipan pa po kanina, last minute, ang module, iiwanan muna in the barangay. Kasi ang after natin, yung answers nila, according to P4, if possible, yung mga modules maiwan sa barangay, ang i-retrieve natin yung mga answer sheets. Now, sabihin, ano pa mang importante ng answer sheets na yon na sila na nag-check, so nakita na nila, this is your tracking for their progress. And another one, if they really are answering honestly, the pre-test and the post-test in the SLM so that it will be used to optimum. They may be taken just for granted. Okay? So we will have to check. And another one to be checked, yung mga department na meron ng in-insert na worksheets nila and meron na silang mga checkan actually. Kasi merong department, for example, English, may kasama na yon. Now, hindi lang basta na designated stock room, punta ka na agad. You will wait until it's so ordered by the team headed by the school nurse and mamolato. They will let us know when they are safe already to be retrieved, yung mga envelopes na for your section, and when to open and sort the answer sheets. So, hindi po siya outright. So, magpa-process din po yan. Ma'am said a while back, there will be the process that will be made by the medical team. Another work of the advisor, retrieves all now the envelopes if they are ready and disinfected for her class from the different barangays in the cluster. So kung I have 50 learners, I will now gather all my envelopes meant for my class. 12 from Salvacion, I have 20 or 30 from ito sa cluster na barangay. So, sa akin na yon. So, what do I do with them? I will now, as the advisor, sort out the answer sheets by learning area. Because in each envelope, 8 learning areas din po yan. So, isusort mo na yung mga by learning area. And then when you're done, the advisor distributes the answer sheets to the respective subject teacher. And sana, pag oras ng distribution na ng advisor, the subject teachers are around. Kasi mahirap pa po magpaparatago, i-ano na lang, ipadala, etc. Marami po yun. And then gathers feedback from the subject teacher a week after. Yung advisor, yung subject teacher, magbibigay ng feedback. O ito, hindi man ito sinasagot, lahat ito kinopya na yung answer kasi lahat na check. Hindi man siya nag-answer, wala man na ginawa. So, if-feedback po yan ng subject teacher sa advisor so that the advisor can coordinate, monitor, and then follow up doon sa parents ng estudyante. So, this is our printed modular distance learning for this school year. Ito po ang processes natin for the junior high school. Okay? So, and I think my next slide is, ayan, illustration na lang po ng ano ang aalisin sa retrieve envelope. Yan, isusort mo na parang barahan ng learning areas. And before I finally end, for this non-linear presentation, to make this very comprehensive na from the linear transcode ng ating IT. Thank you very much, Miss Leia Borromeo, for all the help ng pag-transcode nito into something non-linear. So, credit to you. And to all those who have helped, thank you so much, Department Head. Constant po kami, teachers ng mga Department Head, nagmi-meeting, nag-brainstorm. We come to school despite the difficult situation. And we have been brainstorming to come up with these processes. If this still doesn't suffice and medyo may hindi pa klaro, please feel free to write in the chat box and we shall answer that later. Okay? Now with this, my next slide I know is, of course, my from my heart is a thank you slide. Thank you very much. Good afternoon and have your merienda. Okay? Be safe.
Okay, so I guess our last resource person for this afternoon is very much ready to share with us his topic with regards to the online delivery learning. So let's welcome our last resource speaker for this afternoon, our very dynamic assistant principal 2 for the senior high school. Please welcome Sir Renerio I. Balingbing.
Okay, it's my turn. A blessed afternoon to all. Of course, my very personal greeting is being extended to our very competent people I am with, both physically and virtually. Ma'am Ellen Tasig, our principal 4, my assistant principals, Jen Waring and Bing Australia, and then of course the school ITs and then the sports staff. So this afternoon, let me share with you the guidelines and considerations on the utilization of online distance learning, or ODL, and these have been lifted from DepEd Memorandum Circular 2020-00162 from Undersecretary Diosdado M. San Antonio, entitled Suggested Strategies in Implementing Distance Learning Delivery Modalities, or DLDM. All right, so let me start with the first consideration. A class adopting online distance learning shall follow the regular planning standards in the organization of classes set by the DepEd. Of course, as we move closer to the opening of classes, we have had regular planning in the implementation of these different learning modalities. For online distance learning, We have already conducted capacity trainings and series of dry runs of this learning modality. Starting tomorrow onwards, we will be having another series of webinars and dry runs on the utilization of Google classrooms and other appropriate applications. It shall be applicable in schools where both the teachers and learners have access to digital devices such as laptops, tablets, smartphones, and desktop computers with available online resources and internet connectivity. Of course, not all of us, including the learners, have internet connection, but I am pretty sure almost all of us have smartphones or Androids, and that can be used in online distance learning. With a survey, with a survey result indicating the number of learners ready for online distance learning, looking at the validated preferred LDM as of September 5, sorry, I messed up the year, 2020. So we see these numbers in each grade level, the number of learners ready for ODL, synchronous, and then asynchronous approaches. So with that numbers, ODL now becomes a non-negotiable. If you don't have digital resources at home, the school will make those ready for you. You only need to report to school, visit the ODL classrooms now being ready for you. All the heads, of course, are expected to attend the webinars on the utilization of Google Classrooms and other appropriate applications because they're tasked to monitor and even assess teaching performance of teachers. So they really have to be more acquainted with these applications. Next, the learning resources to be used, but not limited to, the following self-learning modules, textbooks, activity sheets, and other supplementary learning modules. These learning materials shall be converted into different digital content formats, such as video audio lessons, interactive inclusive SLMS. Others can be sourced out from DepEd Learning Resources portal, DepEd Commons, and other DepEd recognized LMS, or online platforms such as Moodle, Schoology, Moodle, and Google Classrooms. So apart from the internet-based learning materials, modules and other available learning materials can be used or converted into different digital content formats. And so we got the right learning management system or the Google Classroom to pull off this ODL. Unlike before, we had trouble finding the right application as to how we are going to apply or implement ODL. But this time around, of course, with the use of Google Classroom, everything will now be made possible. And then, of course, right after, okay, so let me give you a background of what Google Classroom is. So apart from these uses, I'm also inviting, of course, the rest of our division and regional online demo teachers to share with us their testimonies on what they felt about this application and about their experiences while being engaged with the learners using this Google Classroom. Google Classroom is a way to get all of your students in one place and allows you to easily assign work and for students to turn it in. It helps teachers grade and collect assignments paperlessly. Includes time-saving features like making a copy of Google document for each student, creates drive folders for each assignment and student. Students can keep track of what's due on the assignment page and begin working with just a click. For now, maybe some of us are afraid of getting into this application, but you would surely amazed on what this Google Classroom could give us maybe after giving it a try. So we only have to give this one a try. Next, where feasible, learners may also be provided with printed copies of SLMS in consideration of the allowable screen time by key stage or as a support should there be power interruption. Now, upon distribution of modules to different barangays and municipalities, we will reserve buffer SLMS for our online learners, just in case they need these LMS in times of power or at the event there is power interruption or some technical glitches. So uh, there will be no time. We will maximize the time allotted for ODL even if there is power interruption. Now, schools may adopt a combination of synchronous and asynchronous online teaching. For sure, we are all aware of what these approaches are. In consideration of the screen time guidelines by age, as recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics and World Health Organization. Now, for grades 6 to 8, so there is time allotment of or maximum time allotment of 2 hours daily. That's for grades 6 to 8. For grades 9 and 12, maximum of 4 hours daily. So the recommended distribution of time is 2 hours in the morning and two more hours in the afternoon. So as you would notice that 2 hours or 4 hours would not be enough para ma-accommodate natin yung ma-cater natin yung required number of hours expected in a week. So expect na the rest of the remaining times apart from these hours for online ODL, this will be used for asynchronous or offline activities para po makakomply tayo doon sa required number of hours in a week. Ano po? Next. So I am sharing with you a sample of online classes scheduled for grades 6 to 8. So again, so each day, one subject in the morning, another one in the afternoon are being handled with only 2 hours, 1 hour each subject. Ano po? Okay, and then 9 to 12, we have the 3 hours more. So, 3 hours more is following each subject for asynchronous or offline period po. Okay. So anyway, if junior high school would not be having 4 hours in a week, so that could be modified. Okay. Okay. Grade 6, however, will be, of course, in the context of our setup, grade 7 to 8. Pero doon sa, sa recommended time, screen time by age, by grade level, grade 6 to 8 po yan. Next po. Okay, sample of online classes scheduled for grades 9 to 12. So each subject po will have 2 hours for online or synchronous, and 2 more hours for offline or asynchronous. So yan po ang setup natin. So that will be done from Monday through Thursday, except Friday. Kasi ang Friday will is allotted for several relevant activities like completion of output, independent learning activity, self-assessment, task, portfolio preparation, reflective journal, and other learning tasks for inclusive education. In the preparation for the weekly home learning plan and class program, schools shall comply with the recommended screen time for learners. Again, yung time allotment natin for each subjects in grade 7 to 8 is only 2 hours daily. Sa grades 9 to 12, so morning for synchronous or online, we have 2 hours and 2 more hours in the afternoon for synchronous or online. Okay, sample of weekly home learning plan. At some point, you have already received this template on your respective GCs. So, okay, so just see it yourself. Next, online activities shall be complemented with locomotion, motor sensory, and audio tools which will support subjects related to performing arts in clubs or provided with activity sheets and other performance-based tasks to accomplish. Okay. Um, so there are, of course, yet more subjects that requires, I'd say, locomotion or motor sensory and audio tools and other tasks. So these activities must be presented in real time, okay, in actual performance. Because this could not be carried out by just giving the learners instructions or just simply text on how, or shall I say directions on how to do these activities. So sometimes there is really a need for actualization of these subjects which are performing arts, which are performance based. Okay, again, let's go over the screen time for learners. And 20-20-20 rule must be observed. Ibig sabihin, itong 20-20-20, the learners must look away from the screen every 20 minutes and focus on the object at least 20 feet away for at least 20 seconds. And or the learners must walk away from the screen for at least 10 minutes every hour. If the class is rigid from 1 hour to another hour, so at least meron po tayong gap dito na 10 minutes bilang um, screen time para sa learners to move away from from these devices. Ano po? Okay? So in the event na the teacher have not been able to indicate that in the weekly home learning plan, so it has to be given to the students in between or along the way. Learners and parents shall be capacitated on the use of learning management systems, the DepEd Commons, LR portals, and appropriate online platforms before the start of classes. Discussion of online security and protection, digital footprint, promotion of digital honesty, parental guidance, and supervision are some of the topics that may also be included in the orientation. So I still remember when we had of course, with our orientation meeting with the parents prior to our webinar in dry runs of online instruction with a few of our teachers. we actually had an orientation with the not only with the learners but also with the parents. So para magkurumustahan and eventually discuss other important matters. Ano po? Okay. Okay, organize professional development activities on the use of learning management system for teachers by LAC session, coaching, webinar, and other digitally aided trainings. Of course, apart from the previously held webinars on the utilization of Google Classroom and other backup applications, we will be having another, beginning tomorrow onwards, we'll be having another webinar, and then, of course, a series of dry runs ano po, relative to the implementation of online distant learning. Okay, and then a 24/7 technical assistance will also be provided to all of us, to our teachers in need of it. Of course, with Ma'am Julma Argullo and then Sir Paul Borromeo leading the team. So there is really nothing to be worrying about as to how we'll be equipped with necessary knowledge and skills relative to the implementation of online distant learning. Okay? Online materials may be designed for collaborative tasks that will engage learners to work in real time. Online tools may be used for collaboration among peers. And these tools are capable of giving feedback, comment, rating, and even posting grades or scores. Digital empathy is one of the important factors that should be observed in an online learning environment to foster cooperation and teamwork. Hence, it should be part of the activity designed prepared by the teacher. Probably you would ask about digital empathy. So as I mentioned, this is very important sa mga bata, sa mga teachers para ma-foster natin yung cooperation and teamwork among the learners, among us. So ang digital empathy po is only about understanding the feelings and thoughts of your students, of other teachers, via computer mediated communication. So, kung anong ginagawa natin para ma-carry out natin yung sense ng empathy, physically, well, virtually, we will all just do the same thing. Of course, via computer-mediated communication. Schools shall determine the appropriateness of learning management system or educational platform in the delivery of instruction. Open source LMS must be user-friendly to be able to execute a variety of functions. And these functions include the capability to disseminate lessons in the simplest way possible for learners, assess learner competency, organize records of learners and others. And these functions on the part of the learners must be documented via videos or salasi pictures so that the teachers may know actually what the learners are yet doing offline. Otherwise, kung walang documentation sa ginagawa ng mga bata, so the teacher would not be able to do what these students are doing offline. Okay? Because using ODL, it does not mean that we would totally rely on the activities being done online. So there are yet more activities to be done offline. So kailangan po natin i-document. Kailangan i-document ng mga bata yon and then finally upload and then submit them to the teachers. Teachers are expected to give assignments and learning tasks. The quantity of online activities is not equivalent to quality. So the bulkiness of online activities does not totally matters. Ano po? Kasi no matter how bulky the online activities of the learners are, that would not actually or totally assure the quality of work. So yung teacher must assign the learners their tasks, and this include those that require the learners to get up and move away from their devices. Kaya nga po, okay, so kailangan ma-document yung ginagawa ng mga bata. Kung say may ginagawa sila offline, so that happens beyond our knowledge. So it has yet to be documented by taking pictures of what they're doing and then upload and then submit to the teachers to ensure the quality of work. Okay. Synchronous learning shall be conducted using live webinars like this one, like what we're doing now, video conferencing, live chat, or instant messaging. Teachers are highly encouraged to use Google Meet to record a specific activity, especially for performance-based output. Lessons shall be recorded for students who missed the lesson to view later. The learners, they only need to request the teachers to send him or her, to send them the recorded lesson. Kasi na-record naman po yon yung anything that's taking place via Google Meet o Google Classroom, na-record po yon. So, kung na-miss ng mga bata yung lesson is maybe because of some technical glitches or maybe because of power interruption. So just imagine how hard the students would be exerting effort para mag-online lang. So we have to understand them, and then being understanding, so the teachers must of course send to our students requesting for recorded video lessons para mapag-aralan po nila yon. Ano po? Okay, para ma-view nila later. Okay? Okay. Am I still being heard? Okay. So the teachers again could lend the recorded lesson to our learners requesting for it para ma-view nila later kung na-miss nila. Provided na these learners must be warned of the possibility of committing or violating the what is the private Data Privacy Act. So bata yung file na yun, so gagamitin lang yan for that, for the purpose it serves. Ano po? Okay? Asynchronous learning in each subject may be done at least once to a maximum of 3 times per week, depending upon the age and grade level of the learners. Of course, based on the sample schedule or sample of the schedule of online instruction, yung asynchronous natin normally follows after the period of a particular subject for asynchronous and no other. Kaya we are again compliant with this. For asynchronous online platform, LMS or any educational platform shall be utilized for self-paced learning. Other activities to be considered: learning materials may be posted online. Learners may walk through them in their own time. Collaborate asynchronously with other learners or teachers via online forum or email and others. So, ibig sabihin, dito sa asynchronous approach, so this is the opposite of, not totally opposite of synchronous. Kasi dito sa synchronous, the students could deal with or could work on their activities either online or offline. So they can do that in their own convenient time. Okay, so doon sa schedule natin, it does not necessarily mean na after the period for synchronous, eventually, ang susunod dyan yung asynchronous period for asynchronous. Hindi naman po ibig sabihin na agad-agad or automatic susunod yung asynchronous. Unless na may pinapasubmit sa teacher o
pasubmit sa teacher urgently na after or during that period, yung output must be submitted after that one. So, susundin po natin yung schedule. Okay, kung hindi naman, so the students may have the chance to work on their home assignments during their own time. And they still have time to collaborate asynchronously with other learners using low connectivity context like yung GC nila, yung messenger account nila or yung email. Ano po? Okay, teachers shall present lesson in more than one format within the learner's capacity to address their diverse learning profile. So there are, of course, instances where teachers have to deliver, say, the teacher must deliver lesson by text. So they need to have a video or voice recording with it too. Likewise, if they deliver lessons via webinar and teleconference, they are advised to have a text version ready as well, including transcript, slides, decks, and other supplementary materials referenced in the lecture, either in real time or uploaded po. And that shall help the learner or that shall help maintain learning equity for our learners. Kasi may mga instances na mayroon tayong technical glitches o may problema sa may bandwidth challenges. So, by being considerate, by being flexible about these instances, okay, so yung mga bata would have the opportunity to review materials that they are unable to stream on video. So that's where, of course, yung digital empathy will come in. Okay? So as I get closer to the end of towards the end of my presentation, so let me again before I call on some of our demo teachers, our demonstration teachers during the division and regional dry run of online distant learning. So may I share with you an inspiring quote from Carl Roger. The only person who is educated is the one who has learned how to learn and change. Okay, so you would further, of course, deepen your understanding about this one, maybe after hearing some of our demo teachers, okay, the demo teachers whom I asked to share their experiences um, with the learners using the Google Classroom and other appropriate applications. Ano po? So, may I know if Ma'am Annalyn Burlasa, okay, Ma'am Eva Israel, Sir Jonas Borjal, Ma'am Chisette Pernicita, and Sir Freddy Binaday are now ready? Okay. So, anyone from those teachers I have just mentioned to share with us, probably in 2 minutes only, about their experiences, because many of us are afraid of using or implementing ODL, so they would really know nothing about it until they try. Okay, because you would amazed how these applications would do for us well. So maybe we all needed to trust ourselves, trust our ITs, trust our school principal in order for us to carry or to pull off the successful implementation of online distant learning. So may I know, Ma'am Annalyn Burlasa, our subject head for STEM or science in senior high school, if you are gladly ready to share your experience po.
Hello po. Good afternoon, everyone. Sir Renz beforehand requested us, demo teachers, to give some testimony just for 2 minutes. Now, the opportunity given to us, or to me as one of the 8 demo teachers for the regional dry run on online teaching for STEM students was indeed a rewarding experience, a very rewarding experience. Although honestly, at first, I was hesitant. Considering my age, I am not as equipped as the new generation of teachers in terms of the use of technology. But then, uh, I accepted the challenge, and now that I was already taught on how to use it, thanks for the capacity training given by the school, supported by the SDO, I could now tell kung ako papipiliin, I would go for the online teaching using the Google Apps. But then, may I just share? Indeed, I consider three very important things needed for the successful delivery of online teaching. First, a teacher and the student should have good laptop. Then second, there has to be a good connectivity. If these two are provided, the only thing needed is the willingness to learn. If this third thing is there, then there will be no hindrance for a successful online teaching. Yun lang po, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Ann. Thank you so much. That was very inspiring. So again, thank you so much po. May I hear if Ma'am Eva Israel is ready? So if Ma'am Eva is not yet ready, may I hear it from Sir Johnny's?
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So I was very fortunate to be chosen as one of the demo teacher for the regional dry run that we have just conducted last August. So for me, with regards of using the Google Classroom, the teaching learning process was made easy. And the very good thing about this Google Classroom, aside from it made our teaching learning process easy, of course, we will have so much time for our baby. Okay, so yun lang po Sir Renz, and I would like to also to reiterate to everyone that in order for us to have a successful use of Google Classroom, as what Ma'am Annalyn Borlasa said, we should provide ourselves with good specification of laptop. We should have a stable internet connection so that we would be able to achieve what we want to achieve in using the Google Classroom. So with that, I would like to encourage my fellow teachers to please embrace the new challenges that we are facing this time of pandemic, because if we really engage to this new normal, I am very sure that that all of us will be successful with this endeavor that we are facing. So that's all, Sir Renz. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Johnny. So that's heart fattening. Thank you. So may I hear this time from Ma'am Gisette Pernicita, if she is ready. Ma'am Gisette, are you ready? Ah, yes.
Good afternoon po to everyone. I am one of the 8 demo teachers po for online distant modality. And I'll just be very honest with my experience regarding the said modality. Honestly, at first, I was very hesitant to be one of the teachers who will first experience online teaching. But after the capacity training that was given by the school with the help of our IT team, um, I can really say that with the use of Google Classroom, some of the things that were really not possible for me as a senior high school teachers to do before, because as we all know, we didn't have the electricity back then in our buildings. I was able to do it using the online modality. In addition to what Ma'am Ann and Sir Johnny said earlier, um, yes, we have limitations when it comes to our resources, but once we get used to the system and we accepted the challenge and be capacitated with the skills that we need to use with this modality, I think this approach is the closest that we can have since face-to-face interaction with our students is not possible at the moment. So I hope that all my fellow teachers in Tabaco National High School will have the willingness and will be open in trying, studying, and training for this modality. Yun lang po, Sir Renz.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ma'am Sets. You see the beauty of implementing, implementing the ODL. Thank you so much, Ma'am, for this evening.
Yes po.
So may I know if Sir Freddy is ready, or Ma'am, if they're still online.
Good afternoon, Sir Renz.
Okay, Sir Freddy.
Good afternoon, everyone. Guys, ang ang naranasan ko lang po doon sa online teaching during demo. Sa simula po talagang mahirap. Akala ko po hindi po namin makakaya kasi nga wala pa naman tayong karanasan tungkol doon sa ginagawa pag-aaral sa online. Pero po sa tulong po ng ating IPs headed by Ma'am Cargulio, at ito na rin po yung pagkakataon para magpasalamat sa kanila na hindi po tayo pinabayaan or talagang ginabayaan po tayo. Ginabayaan po ako hanggang sa tapos yung pag-demo. At yung naranasan ko po doon sa mga mag-aaral, talagang magaling naman po sila sa internet, sa online, at talagang prepared naman po sila. At kahit po kahit po tapos na yung klase doon sa mga pinagawa po namin offline, talaga ipinapasa po nila, at doon po sa pinagawang survey doon sa final na kung anong gustong modalities na gusto nila, ang ginawa ko po, nag-apply na po ako ng form at doon po sila nag-lab. Tulad po ng yun po, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Sir
Okay,
Renz.
maraming salamat po, Sir Freddy. Alam ko sa maikling panahon, nakita namin yung pagpursige mo at yung dedikasyon para mangyari itong ODL na ito sa subject mo po sa Pilipino. Marami pong salamat. So may I know if Ma'am
Thank you, sir.
Eva is still online? Kung hindi na, we'll
Okay.
proceed to the last
Ready
one.
na po, sir.
This time, Ma'am
Yes
Sweden,
po.
the bit. Andyan si Ma'am Eva.
Hello.
Sige, Ma'am Eva, please.
Okay.
Sige
Yes
po.
po. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon po, Ma'am Eva. Good afternoon po.
Okay, good afternoon. Okay. So, when asked to be a demo teacher in PE, the first question that comes to my mind is, how will I teach PE online? Oh my God. Okay. So, karamihan po yun ang tanong. But then, teaching PE online for the
Paano
very
po?
first time was such a challenging experience. Why? Because just like what Ma'am Annalyn said a while ago, medyo, sabi nga, kami yung medyo, maedad or whatsoever, okay? And we're not that tech savvy, as they said, okay? But the ICT team, we're always there supporting, comforting, telling us not to be afraid. So, true enough, I passed the ordeal. Thank you to the ICT team. Okay. Delivering lessons online was super duper fun and exciting. Why? Because not only the learners are involved, but also other members of the family doing the activity. Yan.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's exciting. So yes, not only did this experience teach me to use Google Classroom, but it also taught me how to learn independently, how to stick with it, with a problem, and find ways of solving it. And perhaps most significantly, the experience taught me the skills that will enable me to continue to develop my teaching skills beyond the electronic classroom. So, until now po, yung mga bata, kahit tapos na yung demo teaching, nag-submit po sila ng mga task, mga activities nila, and they're always communicating with me. So, it was such a nice experience. So, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much po, Mami. That's a very heartwarming revelation. Thank you so much po. And so may we proceed to the last one, Ma'am Sweden David, who is unable to be with us virtually, and yet she has sent her message via messenger.
All right, so there it is. So may I read the sharing of Mom Sweden for you? Being tasked to deliver online teaching modality is a challenging yet fun experience for me. It opens a new phase of interaction that is both advantageous and disadvantageous to learners and to teachers. Nevertheless, we all did it and we did it well. Thank you so much, Ma'am Sweden. So at least yours is, would at some point inspire many of our teachers to do the same thing, to be engaged in online distant learning. Of course, with concerted dedication of all, hard effort and perseverance, we have made ODL possible in our school. So I never stop, of course, giving a congratulatory words to our online demo teachers who were able really to make ODL possible in our school, and of course to our school ITs and then the support staff. Everything is working well for ODL. So um, again, we need to trust ourselves, just like what I said to you a while ago. Trust our ITs, trust our school principal, trust the preferred Google, learning management system, which is the Google application. Everything would be working well for all of us as we implement our online distant learning. So again, to one and all, thank you and good luck po. God bless us.